We return now to Masterpiece Theater. Oh, hello! I didn't see you there. Welcome back to another edition of Masterpiece Theater. Those albums that have been accepted into the pantheon of masterpiece status within the collective whole of the progressive rock scenery. Or those albums that, for me, have been overlooked in being gems, those diamonds in the rough, those albums that need a little bit more of championing. And that's exactly where we find ourselves today within No One's Words by Ephrat. And Ephrat is a progressive rock band from Israel, being kind of helmed by Omar Ephrat. He is the lead guitarist, keyboardist, and programming engineer. And they only put out one album, No One's Words, in 2008. Rounding out this album, because Omar isn't the only personality found on this album, Lior Seeker on vocals, as well as Gil Rosenberg on bass, and Tomar Z, or Zed, on drums. And these guys present a really interesting, I guess they have called themselves heavy progressive rock, but in the same vein as, say, your Rush, your Uriah Heeps, those that are a little bit, they're not quite metal in their presentation, but they're harder than your usual rock music. Steven Wilson did a lot of the mixing, a lot of the mastering, and a lot of the production work on this album. And I mean, right from the get-go of the show, it shows exactly what we're in for. It has a lot of that heavy-hitting atmosphere, but without being brutal or over the top or insinuating too much of anything. The guitar work is beautifully unique on here. Being out of Israel, they were using a lot of like Israeli styles and identities within that particular style of music, and it's really felt within a lot of these songs, even as the show. I love how it hunkers down into using that a metal kind of a technique, like a chugging technique, to usher us into the chords. And the playing styles within the midpoint of this, with a very subtle, it almost sounds like a sitar, but it's utilizing a sitar technique on a guitar. That presence, using that in a build-up towards a reintroducing of that main theme, very brilliantly done. And it also showed the band had a mastery of the build-ups and payoffs. They knew how to really build a sound up to a great plateau, and then using that plateau to usher us through another valley of sound. And all this was done within the first track. And the second song of the HAZE utilizes the beautiful singing styles of Petronella Nelloman. She adds such a really great dynamic to this while having more of like a somber approach to her vocals. It has, as well as like that really kind of belty sound, while also having more of like an intimate track. And you know Steven Wilson's at the forefront within this style because it has that kind of like on a telephone styles where the timbre is right to the max and the bass is completely void within the vocals and within the guitar work. And I love how it transitions from that into a very heavy, very like in-your-face style.
Come play with me.
And once again, once we come into like the latter part of the song, they have been through a lot of build-ups, plateaus, and changes. And much like the show, we have a little bit of a build-up coming into the final part. And just that build-up of that it just provides such a really great groove that ushers us into that like next plateau work. The third track of Better Than Anything has such a great build again, but this time the build is near the beginning, and I love that presentation from like that Middle Eastern identity with that, like they're fusing that kind of technique that we've heard out of that environment, but applied into more of a heavy approach. Now, I know that there's a lot of bands out there that utilize this, but this is one of the few cases where I've actually experienced it. Better Than Anything has a fantastic, like, I believe it's on a guitar, but like a sliding kind of a guitar where it's like I don't know if they're using a certain pedal to control that or if they're actually using a keyboard to control that, but whatever it is, it provides a fantastic little groove and style to it. And also, this is where we have a lot of that passion provided with the vocals, where that lead singer of Lyre is really belting it out and really providing us with that passion that's needed within this Better Than Anything. And again, we have an amazing build-up that's near that midpoint of the song, and I love that little like grinding feel that we have, where he's kind of whisper singing, where he's like, I knew you never would have felt this way, should I dare? Like, it's just, it really grabs the hooks, and it's providing such a great like oomph. Blocked being the fourth track and the shortest track, purely instrumental, a great little bridge that we have into the second half of this album, and the last two tracks are really what solidifies this as being a masterpiece. We have the Sum of Damage Done, Silhouettes parts 1 through 5, and my main man, Daniel Gilden Lowe, is on the vocals on this, providing one of his greatest vocal presence that I have heard outside of Pain of Salvation, and even including Pain of Salvation as well. This is the song that really got me into Ephrat, and I love not only the lyrical content, not only the themes that is presented on this, but where this song takes us. The build-ups, the payoffs, is just dripping in brilliance. The major theme of this is that we're all just the sums of damage done. It's a little bit of a strange mixed message, and try to embrace the flaws within you without completely changing that, while still growing, while still ushering yourselves forth, because who you are now is really all of those bumps and scrapes that you have felt along the way, and the silhouette is what you're trying to exude upon the world. Like, that's who you're trying to showcase, and that silhouette doesn't give you the nuances of your character, and I really love that presentation, and I love the lyrics on this particular piece, and it's paired beautifully with dripping with beauty, notes, and music. And what I love is the pairing of the somber approach with the very heavy and brutal approach. I love the build-up that we have near the end, as with a lot of these songs, that build-up that we have, and that play-out. That play-out is one of those few jump up onto the couch and air guitar along with them, because the guitar work on this is just beautiful, and I'm pretty sure Daniel is playing along as well. It comes to such a great head at the end, with that build up and that payoff of the lyrics of saying, we are all just the sums of damage done, and just that, I don't know, that on a hilltop playing the guitar works, mwah, beautiful. And finally, the last track on here, Real, attempts 1 through 3, the 19-minute Goliath on this. It wouldn't be a standout progressive rock treat without a major epic on here. Like, if you thought that the Sum of Damage Done was just an epic display of music, Real provides such a great treat of just kind of going through the life and times of this individual. And I love the fun atmosphere that a lot of this track has as well. It does provide a lot of the brutal moments that we have, but it provides such a real approach to music on this. And I love that it really takes its time to get into the meaty aspects as well. I love that vocal work with maybe we'll just start at the beginning. And it really tells a tale. It really tells a story and paints a picture of that within the lyrics. And I love when we get into the midpoint and we have the most epic build-up where it starts off with just the acoustic guitar, and slowly but surely more and more band members come in. Love the build-up, love the payoff once we get to that, because when we get to that plateau, when I first listened to the plateau, I'm like, well, it doesn't really lead us anywhere, but what it does is it brings us to that plateau to then have the song build up to the next part. And so when we come into the ending and we have that maybe he was here to set us all free, it provides that oomph, that platform, that mountaintop for that guitar work to take place. It sets the stage perfectly for that end piece. And even though that end piece doesn't really cap off, it provides such a great little closing piece as well near the end. Overall, No One's Words is a brilliant work, and it's, in my mind, criminally underrated. Nobody's really talking about this, even though it's coming up on its 10-year anniversary, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it, because it's now been out for 10 years, and it seems to have been lost in the shuffle. Gotta check it out. Gotta really give it its praise. I keep coming back to it time and time again, even after the 10-year anniversary. Obviously, gotta say it, this album is a full-on masterpiece. So what do you guys think? Have you heard it? If you have heard it before, let me know of your own thoughts by commenting down below. If you haven't heard it, go and check it out. It's on Spotify. Listen to it, enjoy it, and then let me know of your own thoughts by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was one of the albums that when I first thought about doing Masterpiece Theater, I needed to cover because it wasn't getting the recognition that I felt that it deserved. So that's about it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys, as always, are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.